Business Foundations for Mums, with me, Kate Butcher, is the podcast to listen to if you are a mum who is ready to launch your business, not sure where to start, or wanting to turn that sideline into something more serious. It will be full of practical tips, mindset advice, and inspirational and honest interviews with mums who are juggling business and motherhood, supporting mums in business to turn your dream into a reality. And welcome to today's episode of Business Foundations for Mums. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the summer holidays and how you are surviving. So by the time this episode goes out, the summer holidays will have started, I think, for pretty much everybody. And depending on where you are, you'll be at different lengths into it. So when this goes out, I will be just over a week. No, I will be a week into the summer holidays. And if your children are at a school where you have an 8-week holiday or a 6-week holiday, you might be a bit further in than that. But I wanted to talk today about some of the strategies for still managing to get some work done during the summer holidays, if that's what you want to do. It might be that you decide that you just take the whole of the summer holidays off and you don't work during that period. And if that is something that works within the setup of your business and what your business is set up to do, that can be amazing. So I thought we would start off by talking about things like time management. So time management, it can be a really good way to get through the summer holidays, or any holidays for that matter, by setting up a schedule. So I've heard a lot of people who maybe will work up until 10 o'clock in the morning, and then the rest of the day is time to spend with the family and do activities. Having some kind of schedule, some kind of plan when you know you're going to be working, when you know that you're going to spend time with the kids and take them out somewhere and do things with them, having it set in a schedule can be really, really helpful. So you know what time you have available. It's really, really important as well during the summer holidays, even more so than the rest of the time, to prioritize the tasks that need to be done. So highlighting the things that are really important, making sure that those get done first, making sure that those get priority in your schedule, and making sure that you can get through all of the important tasks and make sure that everything that needs to get done gets done first. And time blocking is something that can work really well within that scheduling that we talked about and within that prioritizing. So if you haven't tried time blocking before, it can be a really good exercise to do. You can do it on a digital calendar like Google Calendar, but also I find it really useful to print out a spreadsheet with all of the times blocked out. So it can be really useful. I do it in half-hour blocks. So I use a spreadsheet and I create my day because I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Actually, that time generally isn't work time for me, so I don't usually include that because that is all part of my self-care time. But if I want to block out that time so I know what self-care I'm doing on those days, then I do include that as well. So block out whatever times that you absolutely have to be doing something. If you've got a non-negotiable meeting or somewhere that you need to be, or an activity that you've booked with the kids and you know you're not going to be able to get any work done during that time, get it blocked out in your diary. Make sure that all of the non-negotiables are blocked out first, and then it gives you a really good visual idea of how much time you've got left. If you can do, it can be really useful to find childcare solutions in the holidays. For me, one of those is that my husband is almost always off on a Monday. So generally, if he can look after the children on a Monday, that means that that's one day a week at least that I get to 100% focus on work. Another option is shared childcare or child swaps, which I've done with friends in the past. It can be a really, really good way to make sure that your kids have play date, they have a great time, but you get some time to work. And then you swap over and you take the other person's children. So I've done that with other working mums in the past. At one point, another mum and I did a child swap once a week over the whole summer holidays, apart from when we were away, which was really useful. So it meant that I got a full day of work time while she looked after my kids, and she got a full day of work time while I looked after her kids. But actually, equally, if the kids have got friends to play with, I don't know about you, but I find that they go off and play a bit more independently as well, and you can still get some work done, which is great. There are often also day camps or summer camps or various activities that you can book your children into over the summer holidays. So that can be really useful as well if that's something that's an option for you. But also asking for family members or friends if they might be able to look after your kids for the day. I do find it really helpful that my parents will often offer maybe one day a week to take the children for a day for me so I can get some work done as well. Another thing to think about doing is making sure that your home office space is set up ready for having the children at home. If you don't normally work from home, make sure that you've got a home space where you can work from at home and where that space is designated for work as well. And maybe think about whether you can free up some time from some of the household chores as well to make more time for work, to make more time for family during the summer. If you haven't already done so, maybe think about getting a cleaner in just for, a couple of hours a week. That can really help. Or someone to do your ironing or those tasks that are taking up your time when you could be spending that time with your family, but equally you could be spending some of that time working. It can be a really good and helpful thing to do. And actually getting a cleaner was one of the best things I ever did in my business. Activities that keep your children really occupied can be really good. Games that keep them engaged. I know that during homeschooling, the Twinkle site, which is normally a page for teachers to print off activities for their children, they were doing all sorts of really fun activities and they had all sorts. And I made a point of going on and downloading all sorts of fun things that they could play. And I actually went and downloaded a few that were a bit too old for them as well. So in coming years, I would have some activities as well. So when we lost access to that particular app, I've got a whole load of different resources, colorings, mask cutouts, quizzes, all sorts of things that are educational, but also really fun and that the children really love doing as well. So those are all on my computer and I can print those out for them to have a play with as well. But also think about some of the independent play that they can do, not necessarily just the educational activities, but what can they go and play in their rooms quite happily? Will they be willing to spend some time playing? My son loves it if he can play with some Lego or play on his tablet for a little while. So maybe allow them a specific amount of time to play on the agreement that they can play the games that they want to play if they leave you to do some work on what you need to work on. Think about whether you need to have any flexible working hours as well. So think about the hours that you already work. Could you potentially look at incorporating early mornings into that or evenings or weekends to make sure that you have some more work time available? I certainly do that sometimes in the holidays. So I mentioned that I get up early at 5 a.m. I use that for self-care time. I do find that sometimes during the holidays, if I'm really struggling to get stuff done, I will sometimes switch that and make some of that time into my time for working as well. Think about the benefits of how effective it can be to work remotely as well. So are you able to take work with you when you're going to places? So I'm going on holiday soon. And for me, it's really important to be able to take my work with me. I can take my laptop. I can work from my holiday. I always wake up earlier than everyone else anyway, so it makes sense for me to have my laptop and do some work in a really lovely environment as well. So that can be really good. Make sure that you're looking after yourself. Make sure that you're looking after your self-care, your mental health. You're still getting your exercise, your relaxation, you're incorporating those things into what you're doing so that you're not getting yourself to a point where you're getting burned out over the summer holidays, trying to juggle it all. Make sure that you're taking breaks, make sure that you're spending time doing the things that you do that you know can support you and your self-care in the long term. You might also want to think about some productivity tools for your work. So think about apps that can help you to manage your tasks, manage your schedules, manage your communications, streamline things a little bit if you can. If you can automate a process that you are having to do manually, it's going to save you time in the long term, whether it's the school holidays or not, but in the school holidays, even better, because that's one less thing that you need to think about doing. And equally, maybe think about some online educational resources for the kids as well to keep them occupied. My kids much prefer to do activities online than they do activities offline, particularly my son. So for him, if I can find some really fun maths games or something that can really help him, he can still be online, he can still be playing as far as he knows, but he can still be learning at the same time as well. Have a think about the support you can get within your community as well. So I mentioned already about family and asking family about childcare, but what about networking groups? Are there any online groups where you can meet up with other mums in business? I've got a few in the pipeline for the summer holidays. I'm attending at least one networking meeting, possibly two, with my children as well. They're coming with me. One of those is a group that is specifically for mums and therefore children are more than welcome. The other is a group where if I can get childcare, I'd rather do so because it's not a group specifically for mums, whereas they're quite happy for children to tag along if need be. That's not the main purpose of the group. So thinking about what you can do with those. Also, my networking group that I run locally to me, we are going to be continuing to run that if we have enough demand from it from the existing members, which we're just trying to gauge at the moment. And if we do, then we will run that, and people will be welcome to bring their children along, and we'll take some activities that they can have as well. Think about what activities you might be able to combine as well. So you might be able to get your children involved in things. My children came to the office with me over the weekend. I needed to find a document. So my daughter really enjoys shredding. So while I was kind of rifling through some papers, trying to find a document that we needed to take on holiday with us, she was sitting there, and as I was sort of finding pieces of paper that I no longer needed but had personal details on, I was passing them over to her, and she was shredding them all for me. So that was fantastic. She really enjoys getting involved in those kind of activities, but equally, business brainstorming, other things that your children might like to get involved in, or taking work with you, having some kind of portable office setup. I quite often take my laptop out and about for family days out, because if my children are running off and playing, I can sit down at a table and open my laptop and still get some work done, which can be really useful as well, rather than me just sitting there watching them from a distance and getting bored. If I'm with friends, it's a different matter, but if I'm on my own, it can be a really good way to do it. Think about the budgeting that you need to do over the summer as well. Think about the additional expenses of summer activities, but also keep a lookout for free activities that you can do. You may have heard an interview that I did some time ago with Claire Winlow from Red Kite Days. Claire runs her website, Red Kite Days, and it's a really useful website. It covers a few different counties around the UK, and it gives you ideas of different activities that you can do over the summer holidays. And there's a really wide variety. There's everything from the free activities that are available through to full family days out. But also think about maybe having that emergency fund, having something that you've got to one side so you can have unexpected costs are potentially covered as well. And of course, communication is absolutely key when you're making sure that you can survive the summer holidays. Communicating with clients, communicating with your customers, response times may be more limited, availability for work may be more limited due to the summer holidays. So it's really important that any existing clients know about that, but any new clients who place orders, for example, are aware of that and that that's going to be an issue. I have had an issue in the past. I ordered an anniversary present a couple of years ago from Etsy, and it just didn't arrive. And it got closer and closer to the anniversary date, and it still hadn't arrived. It turned out that the Etsy seller had shut down for the summer holidays, but she hadn't shut down her Etsy shop. So I was still able to place the order, and it just didn't happen. So I got an apology message from her, but that was the extent of it. And I then had to go and find something else at incredibly short notice for my husband as a present. So make sure that if you are shutting down your shop for the summer, or your lead time's going to be a little bit longer, that it's communicated on all of the potential channels where customers might need to come to you, that it's out there on your social media if you do need that bit of extra family time. Communication within the family is equally as important. Make sure that you are communicating. Already, I'm straight away thinking and conscious that I'm expecting to have Mondays as a day of working, but I haven't actually communicated that to my husband. So he's probably making his own plans for a Monday on his days off. And I need to make sure that that communication is really clear. I'm communicating my expectations, my requests, the things that I would like us to do as a family. And if I don't want the children to disturb me for a while, if I'm allowing them some extra time to do things, I need to be really clear with them what the expectations are around that, so that they will allow me to get on with the work that I need to do. So hopefully some of those tips might help you to get through the summer holidays a little bit more smoothly. And I hope the summer holidays are going well and you're having lots of fun. And I hope you've got some nice holidays planned and things to do with the kids. And we can keep business ticking over through that summer holidays. And we'll see you again for the next episode with another inspiring interview with a mum in business. Thank you for joining us here at Business Foundations for Mums. You can find all of our episodes, show notes and blog posts at businessfoundationsformums.co.uk, and you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook.